It's Monday, April 6th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. A bridge too far, Miramichi faces a long road without its major connection between communities. Something to chew on. Halifax is set to see more competition in the grocery aisle.
It's a chance of flurries for most of the Maritimes, but Nova Scotia will pick up some April snow Tuesday evening and night.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. This is a day people in Miramichi were not looking forward to, but knew was coming. The bridge connecting communities on opposite sides of the vast river is now closed for a long period for upgrades. CTV's Derek Haggett has the impact and reaction.
The landmark Centennial Bridge is now closed for months. People here know they'll just have to get used to it.
I feel it's going to be huge, simply from the standpoint of traffic and the ability to get around, but it's to be determined.
It makes my morning about 30 minutes longer.
It took us at least 25 to 30 minutes more.
The mayor hasn't heard too many complaints so far.
A lot of folks aren't working, schools are not in, so I think tomorrow will be the real test of getting a sense of it.
The bridge opened in 1967 and carries close to 14,000 vehicles over the Miramichi River every day. Two closures over the next 2 years will see the replacement of the bridge deck and other improvements. The nearly $250 million project began in 2012. The bridge is expected to remain fully closed until December. It should then reopen for a few months and is scheduled to close once again in April of 2027. For some, it's not that big of a deal.
We live and work on this side of the river. We will be traveling the other side of the river for sports, and we will not be doing too much shopping over there.
Others want to see a brand new structure.
I travel that way a lot, but I don't travel anymore because of the bridge closure and potholes in it. I'm scared of losing my car going through.
An abandoned building fire yesterday, a big concern for the Miramichi Firefighters Union, who are calling for more staff. The mayor says an emergency services plan is in place that includes a temporary fire station.
We're working with the union, our staff are, to put in place additional staffing resources as well to make sure that we can get through this period in a smooth manner.
The project is expected to be complete by 2029. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Miramichi.
The most recent data shows the price of groceries in our region rose faster than anywhere else in Canada. Part of the problem has been a lack of retail competition. But as CTV's Hafsa Arif tells us, that's about to change in Halifax.
Grocery shopping has become a bit of a game, chasing deals, comparing prices, and sometimes driving across the city just to save a few bucks. But for some Nova Scotians, that could soon get easier.
The grocery industry in Canada is quite interesting because it's quite small. It's quite dominated by 4 or 5 major players. So anytime another player comes in, it's going to alter the consumer's landscape.
Coming soon signs now sit in an empty parking lot. A new No Frills location is on the way.
It will increase access and likely affordability also.
And it may not stop there, with talk of another discount grocer, Freshco, possibly moving to another former retail space. For a region with fewer discount options, this kind of expansion is long overdue.
We tend to see food deserts in different parts of the region, and food deserts tend to bring prices higher. And so the more stores you have, the better off we are.
And price is exactly where these stores compete. No Frills, known for aggressive discounting in other parts of the country, could start putting pressure on the market here at home.
What will happen is the market will be a little elastic here, and you'll see some price changes at some of the other competitors.
But don't expect overnight savings. Instead, experts insist the real impact will come gradually as competition builds.
Often you'll have the Walmart or the Costco effect where you'll see prices drop for a while. I do expect more pressure being put on prices to stabilize them.
For shoppers feeling the squeeze, more discount options could make a real difference. With more stores expected to open up in coming months, it's safe to say competition will only grow from here, which is something shoppers will be watching closely. Todd?
All right, Hafsa Arif in Halifax for us right now. Thank you, Hafsa. Let's make this tonight's CTV web poll. We're asking a very simple question. Does your community need more discount grocery stores? And the answers, or the options, are simple as well. Yes or no. Take your pick at ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Blockades may be down, but tension remains high between the Nova Scotia government and the province's First Nations after highways were blocked. At issue, who has jurisdiction over the sales of cannabis on First Nations? Premier Tim Houston said blocking highways is never acceptable. He said it is not peaceful and undermines public safety and respect for law enforcement. The Premier made those comments this weekend after blockades were set up on highways following RCMP raids on a shop in Cape Breton. The province has urged police to fine what it deems to be illegal cannabis retail locations. That, of course, is something that Indigenous communities do not accept. The South Shore Regional Hospital in Bridgewater is on lockdown at this hour as police search for what they call a dangerous individual. They're looking for this man, 30-year-old Latif Tag El Din, who left the hospital mid-afternoon today. Police are using a K9 unit as officers search streets around the Glen Allen area. The man is said to be wearing a gray jogging suit. The public is asked not to approach him. If he is spotted, they're asked to call police. Searchers in Cape Breton combed the woods over the Easter weekend for a man missing for weeks now. One of those searchers knows the pain of looking for a loved one during the holidays. CTV's Ryan McDonald reports.
Ken McDonald and his friend Steve Nugent headed into the woods off Morrison Road on Easter Sunday. They were looking for 30-year-old Connor McDonald of Sydney, who hasn't been seen since March 26th.
This time last Easter, I was in the same predicament. I was searching for the power lines looking for Justin.
Ken's son, Justin McDonald, went missing in July 2024. Nearly a year later, he and Nugent found his son's remains in a wooded area along the Morley Road. 3 men have been charged in connection with his death. Now, the still grieving father is hoping to use his experience with a search like this to help another family.
First and foremost, I had a lot of people that helped me. That stepped up to the place when Justin was missing, and we searched, but we learned that there's a lot of trails and there's a lot of gravel pits, and it could be anywhere. So I just learned that look for what's not supposed to be there, look for the unexpected, and that's what we've been doing.
In a social media update over the weekend, Cape Breton Regional Police said they found Connor McDonald's truck on Morrison Road and that he recently purchased a green puffer-style jacket that he could be wearing. They're also asking people to check their properties, sheds, and cabins, a message Ken McDonald is echoing.
You know, if you travel in this area, if anybody's got video cameras, or if there's any hunters out this area that might have trail cams.
At the beginning of the long weekend, there wasn't much snow on the ground here. But after a storm system came through Friday night into Saturday, as you can see, the ground is now snow-covered, making search efforts all the more difficult. Cape Breton Search and Rescue have also spent days combing the area. Ken McDonald says that he is familiar with these woods from his own searches last year, and that the pain of having a family member missing, particularly during a holiday weekend, is one he knows intimately.
You can't describe it. It's a void that will never heal, and you know, right now, I mean, I'd like to fill their void by giving them some information.
Police are asking anyone with information on Connor McDonald's location to contact them or Crime Stoppers. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Myra Road, Nova Scotia.
Here's a look right now at Edmundston at the U2M campus. It's currently -2. Let's bring in CTV meteorologist Kaylin Mitchell. Kaylin, Edmundston, one of those spots that got a lot of snow on the weekend. We heard Ryan mention that system Friday night into Saturday. Northern New Brunswick really the jackpot on that one.
Yeah, and we dealt with 2 weather systems over this past Easter weekend. Both of them had a mixture of snow, ice pellets, freezing rain, and rain for parts of the Maritimes. Here's some sort of collected reports from around the region, just some select reports through the weekend. So this includes both of those weather systems. And Sisson Brook up towards the northwest of New Brunswick, 20 centimeters of snow. But again, there was some ice pelts and freezing rain as well. Doyleville, one of the northernmost communities there, and had a little bit of higher terrain. Between those 2 weather systems, reported 42 centimeters of snow. Miramichi at around 15 centimeters. Even some parts of western Prince Edward Island reported some snowfall amounts approaching 10 centimeters. And of course, ice pelts, freezing rain, and rain. And in in Cape Breton, where Ryan was, of course. At Bedeck, around 14 centimeters of snow in total between the two systems and 15 centimeters at Sydney. All these other precipitation reports around the Maritimes, which are in millimeters and range between 20 to over 40 millimeters. Even a few areas like Mesas Bay down around the Bay of Fundy coastline reported some totals around 50 millimeters or more. That was in that mixture, again, of some snow, but also a significant amount of ice pelts, freezing rain, and rain. So yeah, definitely some periods of inclement weather as we went through our Easter weekend here in the Maritimes. Now, if you're headed out this evening, temperatures are cool to chilly right now, but they're going to be turning colder as we head through the night. Winds are still blustery at this hour as well. They're going to continue to diminish as we make our way towards midnight, and we still have a scattered mixture of some showers and some flurries drifting through. But I have a little bit more in the way of some April snow to talk about, especially for the province of Nova Scotia, Todd, when I come back just a little bit later on.
All right, we'll look forward to that, he says, tongue-in-cheek. All right, we'll talk to you later. People living on the Kingston Peninsula near St. John are dealing with a problem typically faced in larger communities. Theft is up. So is the value of what's being stolen, as CTV's Avery McRae found out.
It's a busy day of canning at Yip Cider, who have been dealing with much more than day-to-day operations of late.
In the past, it really hasn't been a problem, but lately it seems to have flared up and definitely causing some issues around the community.
What Yip co-owner Joe Mackay is referring to is a rise of thefts on the Kingston Peninsula. In late March, the cidery had a side-by-side stolen from the property that is a key piece to their operation. It's one of multiple recent examples of trailers and off-road vehicles being stolen from businesses and residents in the area this year.
They've been super upset, a little bit uneasy. You're hearing the same story across New Brunswick and across Canada. I think crime and theft has been generally increasing. Big-ticket
items aren't the only thing vandals are targeting. The other week, the popular Reed's Point Pub and Grill was broken into, resulting in around $800 of stolen liquor.
They ripped the smart meter off of our wall on the building, and disconnected the power, and they busted our patio window to get in.
Lisa Wiggins says the crime itself is just part of the problem. According to her, the night the pub was broken into, RCMP took 2 hours to respond, and she wonders why their presence on the peninsula isn't greater amid the theft trend. She says most of the reported thefts of late on the peninsula, including the pub break-in, have happened between 3 and 5 in the morning.
I just don't understand why there hasn't been more RCMP presence when there's definitely been an uptick in thefts. Why isn't there a cop on the peninsula or an RCMP officer on the peninsula between those hours?
CTV made numerous attempts to contact local RCMP on the rise in thefts on the peninsula, but did not hear back by airtime. Avery McRae, CTV News, Long Reach, New Brunswick.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
China's decision to remove a 25% tariff on Canadian lobster was met with much fanfare at the time. Problem was, prices proved to be too high for most buyers. But that could all change in the coming weeks. CTV's Jonathan McGuinness explains.
Jamie Osborne just set 200 lobster traps off Eastern Passage. He'll drop another 50 later this week.
Well, the catch is not very good. Everybody will tell you the same thing.
Osborne's temperature gauge on his boat put the water at 36 degrees. He says that's too low for good fishing.
Once it gets up to 40, from there to 40 to 50 degrees is, pretty good temperature. They'll start moving a little better. They should if they're there to move.
Water temperature is one reason the catch has been low. The rough seas that has kept boats tied up is another. Low supply means a high price.
Fishermen are getting $16 a pound today, whereas they were getting $8.50 in December. So that gives you some idea of the variance.
That high price means the Chinese market hasn't returned as many hoped, even after their 25% tariff was removed March 1st.
When it's of interest to importers in China, it's a terrific market, but there's half the time when the price is simply too high for affordability reasons.
There could soon be movement on the export front, especially to China. Lobster season is set to open later this week off Nova Scotia's eastern shore, and that should bring prices back down.
Subject to the price, China will have considerable interest, I think. There are times when they want every lobster in the ocean.
All good news for Jamie Osborne, who's hoping to see his catches increase as the water temperature and international markets heat up. And Todd, weather permitting, lobster traps will go in the water along Nova Scotia's eastern shore on Thursday and will be hauled Friday. Todd.
All right, thank you, John. From the wharf this evening. The effect of the war in Iran is starting to be seen in fuel surcharges on flights both domestically and around the world. CTV's Nick Moore has details of how the impact could be felt on tickets in and out of our region.
Beginning today, Air Canada is adding a $50 fuel surcharge on new bookings to tropical destinations. On Wednesday, WestJet says it will add a fuel surcharge of $60 on bookings made with companion vouchers. In late March, Porter Airlines added a fuel surcharge of $40 on all flight redemptions made through its loyalty program.
Companies I think they're trying to be as sensitive as they can, knowing that consumers are incredibly price sensitive.
Lauren Sheehan is a professor with the Faculty of Management at Dalhousie University and is an expert on the travel industry.
As long as this goes on, we are going to be in this state of either high prices or limbo where we don't know where the price is going from day to day. But it doesn't look like in the current environment that it's going down.
Both Air Canada and WestJet say they're also looking at reducing flight schedules in the near future amid uncertainty with the war in Iran.
Probably about 25 to 30% of the world's aviation fuel does originate in the Middle East. So it is a significant impact on the airlines.
Aviation management expert John Gradick says the world has not seen such an aviation fuel shortage of this magnitude since the 1970s.
We're going to start running out of aviation fuel probably within the next week or so in various parts of the world. And that will be the real kick that passengers and travelers will feel.
We often look at the airline industry as sort of a leading indicator of where our economy is going. And when we start to see companies and individuals dial back their spending on airline travel, that tells us that their mindset is that the future doesn't look as good.
Air Canada, WestJet, and Porter all insist that the additional fuel charges are temporary. Nick Moore, CTV News, St. John.
There was some positive air travel news today. It was revealed Air Canada will offer a weekly direct flight between Halifax and Barbados. For those details, you can visit our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. It's an annual event and an annual debate. What to do about big garbage items in Cape Breton. And this year, there's a new plan and some familiar concerns. Here again is Ryan McDonald.
For years, a sure sign of spring in the Cape Breton Regional Municipality has been heavy items like these sitting curbside.
I got a mattress I need to put out and just some bigger, heavier, dirtier items.
This year, though, the CBRM isn't doing its annual heavy garbage collection. It's being replaced by a year-round Call to Haul program. People can place up to 5 items at the curb and call 311 to have them picked up.
People are so used to having the heavy garbage, but I also think that maybe some change is needed and a different way of doing things because the status quo just maybe is not working right now.
It always comes down to budget, and we're trying to save money as much as we can.
Councillor Eldon MacDonald says heavy garbage now costs the municipality between $500,000 and $750,000 each year, up significantly from about $250,000 per year when he was first elected back in 2012. Over the years, some have complained that all this trash was a bad look, particularly for spring cruise ship visitors.
And they should be picked up the next day. So it won't be debris that will be hanging around a curbside, which heavy garbage allowed for that. Some people would put it out 2 and 3 weeks ahead of time, which was very unsightly for our community.
Also new this spring are some changes when it comes to tipping fees for some items dropped off here at the city dump. Some people figure that with all of these changes, some garbage might wind up being dumped illegally rather than ending up here at the landfill.
Oh, most definitely. People just think it's easier just to throw it in the woods or throw it off the side on the highway.
I think the opposite. Individuals that miss heavy garbage pickup, they have that one opportunity. If they miss it, they have the opportunity for the rest of the 12 months of the year to abandon those appliances, Chesterfields, kitchen sets.
The new Call to Haul program starts May 1st. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
We'll take a break. When we return, Kaylin will have a look at the week ahead. We'll hear about today's record-breaking space travel. But next, the latest on the war in the Middle East.
President Trump is giving Iran until 8 p.m. Tuesday night to make a deal, or else the U.S. will dramatically escalate its attacks. I'm ABC's Karen Travers at the White House. I'll have the latest coming up.
The U.S. president has given Iran until tomorrow night to reach a deal. If not, Donald Trump doubled down on threats to strike energy infrastructure and bridges in the country. We get the latest now from ABC's Karen Travers.
President Trump is giving Iran until 8 p.m. Tuesday night to make a deal.
The entire country could be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night.
If not, the U.S. will dramatically escalate its attacks and for 4 hours, he says, target Iran's civilian infrastructure.
We have a plan, because of the power of our military, where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again.
Iran saying they would reciprocate any such attack. Some say the U.S. targeting this infrastructure could be viewed as a potential war crime.
You know the war crime? War crime is allowing Iran to have a nuclear weapon.
Analysts say the rules of engagement vary.
Got to consider whether this is dual-use infrastructure. So if it's purely for civilians, then it's off limits. If it's being used for military purposes, then depends on the legal review, it can be struck.
Earlier, Iran and the U.S. received a draft proposal from mediators from Egypt, Pakistan, and Turkey, calling for a 45-day ceasefire and the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz to try and find a way to end the war. Iran rejected the proposal and issued its own 10-point plan. U.S. officials described the counter-proposals as not constructive to negotiations. The president came to the briefing room to tout the daring rescue of those American airmen shot down Thursday over Iran.
In the United States military, we leave no American behind.
Asked if Iran must make a deal by his Tuesday deadline or open the Strait of Hormuz or both, the president said Iran must make a deal that's acceptable to him and it must include the free traffic of oil. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Up next, we'll focus on weather. Nova Scotia can expect some, yes, I'm going to say it, snow Tuesday night. Kaylin has the details after this commercial timeout. A few clouds over the waterfront in Sydney as we look down on the boardwalk today. Coast Guard vessel, Kaylin Mitchell joining us, and that image will have look a little whiter in the coming days, eh?
Yeah, Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. Some snow expected for Sydney and Cape Breton area, as we saw from Ryan's report earlier. They did pick up some snow over this weekend, and yeah, a little bit more on its way in as a low-pressure system develops and makes its way in out of the Great Lakes. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape for that next weather system. So again, it is low. It's getting its legs underneath it now over the Great Lakes. It's not a particularly strong weather system. Central pressure of it, which can be a measure of the strength of these weather system, only falls to about 1,014 millibars as it passes to the northeast of the Maritimes by Wednesday morning. The timing for most of the weather impacts for us here in the Maritimes, it's mostly going to be Nova Scotia. It'll be Tuesday evening and Tuesday night, but parts of that province could pick up about 5 to 10 centimeters of spring snow. Now, because of the time of the year, the amount of snow that adds up is probably going to vary from surface to surface. Likely might be a little bit more melt on paved surfaces, and it might add up a little bit more on vegetative surfaces like lawns, for example. Let's take a look at how much snow we can expect out of that weather system. So again, this is Tuesday evening and Tuesday night for Nova Scotia. And you can see there's a potential of 5 to 10 centimeters that runs beginning around the Annapolis Valley and extends up towards the Minas Basin area and then into the east of the province. That would include parts of both the North Shore and the Eastern Shore, as well as areas of Cape Breton. Now, initially when this weather system comes in, and it starts first in the afternoon, Tuesday afternoon in the southwest of Nova Scotia, there it looks like it'll be a bit more of a mix of rain and snow. So that might hold the overall snowfall amounts a little bit lower there and extending up the South Shore. And even the Halifax area right now looks like maybe about 2 to 5 centimeters. Chance for some lighter snow and some flurries from the system to kind of skirt into parts of the south of New Brunswick, mostly along the Bay of Fundy Fundy coastline or the Bay of Fundy coastal areas. And then for Prince Edward Island as well, possibility of some lighter snow or some flurries as that low moves past. Let's head over and take a look at the timing of weather conditions for the Maritimes over the next 24 to 36 hours. So first of all, for this evening, we do have some scattered flurries and showers drifting through. Those mostly come to an end by around midnight. There's some partial clearing overnight. Temperatures do turn colder, though. Should be a fairly sunny start to the day for Tuesday for many communities in the Maritimes. And then turns over to a mix of sun and cloud into and through Tuesday afternoon. The cloud cover increasing from the west and the southwest ahead of the arrival of that low pressure system. And then as we make our way through Tuesday afternoon, a light mix of snow and rain into the southwest of Nova Scotia, with that snow becoming more widespread for that province Tuesday evening and Tuesday night. Here's a look at the low temperatures in the forecast for tonight. Going to be on the colder side for an early April night. Lows for Nova Scotia falling into a range around 0 to -5. Down to around -3 for Charlottetown and Summerside for tonight. A lot of low temperatures for New Brunswick, falling a few to several degrees below the freezing mark, and even colder than that up and towards the northwest. Edmundston down to around -12. High temperatures tomorrow across northern New Brunswick between -2 and +2. Cold morning, and then a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon. Central and southern areas of New Brunswick do a little bit better with some high temperatures up between 1 and 4 degrees. For Prince Edward Island, the high temperatures on Tuesday between 0 and 2 degrees. Isolated flurries there, so that's about a 30% chance of a flurry for any given community. In eastern areas of Nova Scotia for tomorrow, Cape Breton, high temperatures between 0 and 3. And for the North Shore and the Eastern Shore, the high temperatures 3 to 5 degrees. Northern and central parts of the province with high temperatures tomorrow, low to mid-single digits, including 5 at Truro, 6 at Enfield, 5 at Upper Tantallon and Chester. The Annapolis Valley tomorrow with high temperatures near 5 degrees, 7 for Digby though, 8 for Bridgewater on the South Shore, a little bit cooler for Shelburne and Yarmouth with highs near 5. Taking a look at the extended forecast, let's see if we can find some more fair weather, more pleasant April conditions here. And that looks like it's coming up towards the end of this week. An area of high pressure in place for the Maritimes should give a fair amount of sunshine Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday. And the daytime high temperatures for New Brunswick Thursday into Friday look like they could come up towards the low teens for many communities. Chance of showers on Saturday. Temperatures a little bit cooler on Sunday. Rain possible on Monday of next week. Here's the outlook for Nova Scotia. So we've got some clearing conditions on Wednesday. Wednesday's still a cool to chilly day. Daytime temperatures recover a fair bit, though, for Thursday and Friday. Could have some highs into the low teens. That extends into the start of the weekend on Saturday. There's a chance of showers on that day. A mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, and then rain possible on Monday of next week. And for Prince Edward Island, the forecast clearing on Wednesday. Temperatures rising, though. Thursday, Friday, both days looking mostly sunny. There'll be a chance of showers after that on Saturday. Mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, and then rain possible on Monday. Todd.
Double digits would be nice. Thank you, Kalen. We will see you later. Next, we'll talk about how today's history-making space mission to the dark side of the moon happened.
An exciting day for Artemis II, those 4 NASA astronauts conducting their historic lunar flyby. I'm Rena Roy, and I'll have more on their journey to the moon coming up.
Okay, so coming up tomorrow, another chance to win that $100 gas card that we give away on Friday.
And you get another shot at a trip for 2 to Bruno Mars in Toronto. Good luck.
Welcome back. Canadian Jeremy Hansen and his fellow Artemis astronauts have now traveled further into space than anyone in human history. In a moment, we'll discuss the record-breaking flight with Rob Thacker. But first, details from ABC's Rena Roy.
The Orion space capsule making a historic lunar flyby this afternoon, first setting a record for the farthest distance traveled by humans in space.
We will continue our journey even further into space before Mother Earth succeeds in pulling us back.
Surpassing the mark set by the Apollo 13 crew in 1970.
Today, for all humanity, you're pushing beyond that frontier.
The 4 astronauts taking turns observing the moon, including craters and previous moon landing sites, and then the far side of the moon. These new images showing the moon and Earth from their vantage point.
This is when they're going to show why human eyes can do things that
the vehicles that have mapped the whole moon previously can't really see.
The crew posting these photos from space, writing morning routine, wake up, shave, make the bed, witness something that's never before been seen by human eyes. Ahead of the mission today, they received this pre-recorded message from the late Jim Lovell, who was an astronaut on Apollo 8 and Apollo 13 decades ago.
Hello, Artemis II. This is Apollo astronaut Jim Lovell. Welcome to my old neighborhood.
ABC News speaking with the astronauts last week about their excitement to be part of history.
First and foremost, I would just like to say thank you. Your support and trust in us has enabled this, and so many people that have worked for so long to make this possible. But also, we're just getting started.
Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And Rob Thacker is back with us from St. Mary's University. Of course we had to have you back. I mean, this is a monumental day, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So some debate about just how far it flew beyond the moon, Artemis, whether it was 4,000 or 6,500. It doesn't, I guess that's inconsequential.
Well, they'll know after they've done it.
Right. The idea that a Canadian is among the very select few who have flown further than anyone in human history, I mean, that really is worth celebrating.
I think the incredible thing for Jeremy Hansen in all of this is, right, he's the newbie on board. Right. And so all of the other three have some experience and so on, and Jeremy is brand new. And so the interviews, people have probably seen them, I'm sure. Like, he is giddy, right? He is really enjoying it. And, you know, it's not a big space to be in, and Jeremy's a pretty big guy.
He certainly is.
So he's dealing with that really well.
Radio blackout. We've heard so much about this, and they're in this for an extended period,
40
minutes, right? But this would have been something they would have had to practice, had dealt with, be comfortable with.
Absolutely.
For quite some time.
I mean, all of the systems can go autonomous. If there was ever a problem when they went into the radio blackout era, the ship is basically capable of piloting itself, right? So all of those concerns that are often talked about, and you can understand why, because you are literally cut off from radio communication, right? At the end of the day, they've trained for this. They know all the procedures they're going through. They know when they're going to be recovering the signal and so on. So all of this is really something that they've trained for. And personally, I'm not concerned about this. The physics is completely in control of where the spacecraft is going.
So I've heard people say, well, wait a minute, the Apollo missions, you know, they went around the moon. This is further out, but in essence, what's the difference between what they've done?
I mean, technically it's not that much further. I mean, the particular physics of where they're getting to is pretty much similar to Apollo 13, and when you look at the overall energy that's been expended. But at the end of the day, they're going to have a unique situation that they can look and see both the full sphere of the moon and the sphere of the Earth at the same time. So I'm thinking there's going to be a pretty impressive picture that becomes part of culture over the next few years.
Okay, so has that become the new, what was the original one, the blue dot?
The blue marble.
The blue marble.
Yeah.
And I think virtually everybody, it's one of the most recognizable photographs ever taken. We could be in for sort of a new generation of that.
The Earthrise image, that's very famous as well. And so, but this one, we'll see whether it captures people's imaginations in the same way.
Okay. It's been a long time, and it was a half a century.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 1972, right? So this is really a long time getting back there. But I mean, this is ironically somewhat similar circumstances, I think. That was the space race. There is a new space race between the US and China over the moon. We're seeing that play out in real time. So it's funny how the dates change, but the situation stays the same.
This, there was Apollo 16. This is Artemis II. Should we expect a long series of Artemis missions? Will these continue to land?
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see Artemis 3 to 4. 4 is when they're scheduled to land. 3 is going to be testing all of the landers doing. I mean, they did similar things in the Apollo missions as well. Because, I mean, Artemis 2 is a test flight at the end of the day. We've been joking about the toilet and so on, but I mean, heck,
the toilet broke.
They're having to test all of these things in zero gravity, which is a different operating environment to regular gravity. People need to remember that. You can't just assume it's going to work.
And so they're slingshotting back now. There is, explain what happens. There's is it a shutdown they have to go through, or they're doing something?
Well, Well, so once they're going around the moon, I mean, they're going out of radio contact. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
But then as they come back around, then they're headed home. They don't really have a choice. The dynamics is going to take them back to the Earth. And so that takes them to Friday when they actually land, which I think for me is the biggest day of the mission, because that's when you go through this few minutes of terror of coming through the atmosphere again. So, I mean, that's going to be a bit nerve-wracking, but right now, everything's in the hands of physics, and it's pretty reasonable and straightforward.
In watching some of the other media, it's interesting. You hear from a lot of astronauts and former astronauts, and most of them have experience with the International Space Station. But there's the most interesting one that I found anyway is that the prior Apollo astronauts who are still alive, who really have feel some kinship with this Artemis group.
I mean, there is something really different about going to the moon as opposed to going around the Earth. Don't get me wrong, I think going around the Earth has to be an amazing experience. But going to the moon takes you so far away from the Earth that you can start to see its fragility in all of space. And I think that has to have a profound effect on you, even as so much as the people who go into low Earth orbit say they get some of that. But going away and looking back, wow, that feeling of I'm so distant has to be profoundly affecting of individuals.
It's a very select club, and we will look for that new photograph that's going to be everywhere soon. Rob, thank you for coming in.
Always a pleasure.
We'll take a break. We'll be back with much more of the show. Stay with us. In health headlines, a common antidepressant is showing promising signs in easing long COVID fatigue. CTV's Amanda Debison has that in the Monday edition of The Lifeline.
According to a new study, a common and low-cost antidepressant can successfully treat fatigue associated with long COVID. The study found the drug fluvoxamine, which is commonly sold under the name Luvox, significantly reduced fatigue symptoms in a clinical trial of nearly 400 adults with long COVID. It's one of the first times a medication has been shown to effectively treat the condition. An estimated 65 million people worldwide have experienced long COVID. Common symptoms include fatigue, breathlessness, muscle or joint pain, and impaired sleep, which persists for at least 3 months after infection. Stateside, a new study reveals that reputable health groups in the U.S. are unintentionally funding medical misinformation. Researchers at Yale University found that health and government organizations in America accounted for more than 10% of ad revenue on websites promoting misinformation. Between 2021 and 2024, millions of dollars in ad spending landed on unreliable sites, often inadvertently. Groups say that's because automated programs can place credible ads next to harmful content. The study warns these ad placements can legitimize false claims and diminish public trust in government health agencies. Finally, the Artemis II mission is revealing how even a short journey into deep space can strain the human body. Experts say radiation exposure, microgravity, and confined conditions can affect organs, muscles, and cognitive function in ways that are still not fully understood. Astronauts experience fluid shifts, muscle and bone loss, and must rely on daily exercise to maintain physical health. With Health and Medical News, I'm Amanda Debison for The Lifeline.
Entertainment news, and Maritimers will not be rocking out to the Goo Goo Dolls in person next weekend. Well, the band is hoping that fans will understand why they canceled the remaining dates of the Canadian tour, including stops in Halifax and Moncton. In a social media post, the band shared that their lead singer, was diagnosed with pneumonia and has yet to fully recover. Of course, the Goo Goo Dolls were slated to play Halifax on Friday, Moncton on Saturday. The band recently also canceled a few shows in Ontario due to illness. Anyone with tickets to the remaining shows will be refunded wherever they bought those. Burger Week in PEI. It's one of the most popular events on the calendar on the island, but with high beef prices, restaurants are hoping people don't lose their appetite. Here's CTV's Maria Saru in Charlottetown.
Sizzling Cooking on the grill, a 7-ounce patty from a local supplier, topped with brie and mozzarella, shallots, and grape relish. This burger is Chef Jared Acorn's creation and his restaurant's entry into an island-wide competition.
A little nervous right now, just we're the new place in town.
Burger Love is back for its 15th year with more than 114 restaurants in the running for the highest-rated hamburger. Some are keeping a close eye on costs, with the price of fresh and frozen beef up nearly 14% compared to last year, according to the latest Consumer Price Index data. That factored into the $18 price tag.
It's something we're always mindful of course, but we still want to make things accessible for the consumer. There's a happy middle ground there somewhere. We're happy with the price point we landed at.
And participating pays off, says the campaign's co-creator, not just for restaurants, but across the economy.
So even napkin sales go up for people. You want cheese on your burger? That's going to add to your bottom line as a dairy producer.
Last year, more than 113,000 burgers were sold, and that's with fewer businesses on board. It was a record number of sales and donations, with $1 from every meal going to Anderson House, a provincial emergency shelter.
So it allows us to be flexible and responsive, to look at what the gaps are and how to fill them.
Burger Love runs until April 30th, giving Islanders the rest of the month to dig in and give back. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Hey, get decked out with Kent just in time for the warm weather.
You can win $2,000 in patio furniture and decor from Kent. Enter at move100halifax.ca.
On the markets, the Dow opened the trading week after the Easter break, closing the day up 165 points. Stocks and oil prices flip-flopped today ahead of Donald Trump's deadline to attack Iranian power plants. BNN Bloomberg's Lindsay Biscaya has more.
The U.S. stock market in particular made only hesitant moves today ahead of Tuesday's deadline. Equities rose for a fourth straight day, with the S&P 500 seeing its longest win streak since January. The TSX also continued to recover for a fourth consecutive session. Meanwhile, oil climbed once again, and bonds and the dollar wavered. And here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up, sitting at 71.86. West Texas Intermediate climbed 87 cents. Western Canadian Select is also up more than $5 to 80.51. And the TSX finished the day higher, just over 33,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Kayla Mitchell's on the weather deck. One more look at forecast tomorrow in particular?
Yeah, it's chilly and it's gusty out here on the weather deck. Again, the winds are going to be coming down gradually through tonight, but if you're headed out there this evening, they're certainly still very blustery, and we've got a few showers and flurries moving through. Let's take a look at a viewer picture for tonight, and this comes from last week and a night last week where we had the moon there visible through sort of a veil of some clouds. This is from Ann Fennedy. I want to thank Ann very much for taking the time to share this picture. It's taken in Halifax, Nova Scotia, where for tomorrow it'll be a mix of sun and cloud, high temperature near 5 degrees. But remember, there is some snow that is expected Tuesday evening and night. Day planner for tomorrow around the Maritime region. Pretty cold start to the day for an early April morning. Most temperatures will be around or few to several degrees below the freezing mark. Should be a fair bit of sunshine, though, first thing in the morning, and then we'll see some cloud cover increase in the afternoon. A little mix of some snow and some rain arriving in southwestern Nova Scotia Tuesday afternoon, and that's the leading edge of what will become that snowfall for the province of Nova Scotia Tuesday evening and night. Chance of some lighter snow and some flurries getting into southern areas, New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. Let's find out what's ahead on your Morning Atlantic.
Tuesday on your Morning Atlantic, Green Machine Time.
Yep, the city of St. John is welcoming back this fully stocked 14-foot trailer to help keep communities clean and tidy.
Start your morning with us Tuesday on your Morning Atlantic on CTV2 and Crave.
And finally tonight, some sports. And another new record has been set for attendance at a professional women's hockey league game. The PWHL set a record in the U.S. over the weekend. The game between the New York Sirens and Seattle Torrent at Madison Square Garden on Saturday night drew a crowd of just over 18,000 people. The previous high water mark was for just over 17,000. Playing their first game at MSG, the Sirens won 2-1. In a shootout. All right, that's a look at our day here at home. Callum Smith is here at 11:30. News anytime on the web and the CTV News app. I'm Todd Battis. I hope to see you right back here tomorrow at 6. Till then, have a good night.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast. Watch live on Crave.